So remember what plants do best. They help to restore, repair, prevent. Our herbs and our herbal protocol have to match our body's needs. So these are things that we have to think about. And I know it can be hard to think about these things when we're like doubled over in pain. So you start thinking about it now. So that was the first thing that I did. Absolutely a mindset change. How did I get out of chronic pain, just dependence on big pharma, using herbal medicine and the calypso healing method? I adopted a plant mindset. I really had to figure out how herbs work all on their own, not in comparison to how pharmaceuticals work, and learn how to develop protocols that match my body's needs in this season, because that also has a lot of variability too, depending on what's going on in your life. So how do you take herbal medicine in the right way? Remember that drugs force, herbs restore, they repair, they prevent. They are made up of thousands of constituents. So all of those constituents in different ways are interacting with the cells in our body versus pharmaceuticals, one, two active ingredients and other ingredients forcing the body into a response. The body's always gonna bug back. So your herbs and your herbal protocol have to meet your body's needs. How much this has been supporting you?
So this is my third batch of this, and I've been on a gout flare-up for about 5 to 7 days now, and normally it takes like 2 weeks to recover. Already, as you can well see, I'm back walking on this. 3 days I was on crutches, and now while limping, this is definitely serving a great purpose, and it's getting me back on my feet quicker, so I am grateful.
And if you weren't taking it, how long would it take?
Almost a month. Take me almost a month to be back on my feet without any symptoms. So we've cut the process into a third of the time by drinking these. So.
Yay! So that's D-Lo. And really what I want you to see in that is how big that jar is. So just like I was talking about, like our immunity syrup, the preventative would be 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. If there's a respiratory issue that starts to creep up, the dosage is more. That same blend, if D-Lo was doing right, that same blend, like that preventative dose would be like 1 or 2 cups of tea per day. He had to drink that amount because now he's in a flare, that amount in a day. So we ended up over time, like having probably 2 gallons of that over time. But I would never, this is also a part of like knowing what you're doing and knowing how someone responds to that formula already, because you would never start with take 2 gallons of this over the course of a week or so. So well-being brew number 2, let's take a quick poll. Now we're going to figure out how do we choose the herbs that are going to be most supportive to you, meaning they're going to be most compatible with you. So give me a hashtag, or give me a guilty in the chat if you've ever done any of these things. If you've taken herbal advice from a Facebook group or a random person in the natural health food store who happened to be in the same aisle as you at the same time, give me a guilty in the chat if you've ever assumed the hiccups that since some herbs worked for your BFF or your partner, well, you'll just start taking them too, because hey, they got to work for you too, right? Give me a guilty in the chat. Give me a guilty in the chat. This is all of us. Search on Google, YouTube, and TikTok, searching for natural support. Give me a guilty in the chat. So here's what happens when we do these things. We just end up lost in this cave of fad herbalism, bouncing from site to blog to video to Facebook group, trying to find complete information on the remedies. How do we make them? How do we take them? What's going to work for me and not simply because it worked for somebody else. And maybe we actually try it, right? And we try it and we're like, it didn't work. And you spent all of that time shopping and planning and prepping and making. So you end up angry, end up wasting your money, your time. So many of my students, they come into the program with drawers full of herbs that they have purchased by the pound, no less. So they have like a lot of it. And they're like, well, TikTok made me buy it, but I really don't know what to do with it. So that's a waste of time. That's a waste of your money. That's also a really big waste of the medicine. Like we do think a lot about sustainability in herbalism. So fad herbalism is not bad, but it is incomplete. Can't tell folks to stop searching for things on the internet, but we can figure out ways, and I can help you with ways to like guide your research so that you're more informed about what you're taking when you look it up. And like, if something doesn't sound right, it's probably not right. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So I really want you to be discerning about where you do your research. Think about, is this information complete? Is it setting me up for success? And the way that I like to think about this is helping you to become a plant to person matchmaker. And so I teach Six pillars of plant to person matchmaking inside of herbal medicine for the soul. And we have four pillars that we can cover today. And this is a whole different world, kind of like a whole different paradigm and way of thinking about the body, just different frameworks of thinking about the body. So the terms that you hear in this section are not going to be terms that are familiar in any other realm, kind of like outside of herbalism. We have our own kind of unique language that we speak. And so, pillar number one is tissue state. Pillar number two is organ and system affinity. Pillar number three is Ayurvedic dosha. And pillar number four is astrological correspondence.